There's a specific haircut request that hairstylists have quietly started referring to among themselves as the granny cut. Not because of the length or the color, but because of one specific structural choice that instantly signals, I've given up on my hair, whether that's the intention or not. And here's the part that's going to surprise you. A huge number of women asking for it think they're asking for something safe, low maintenance, and age appropriate, when in reality they're asking for the exact opposite of what actually looks youthful. Today I'm walking you through 6 specific hairstyles that do the complete opposite, cuts that take 10 years off visually, and by the end of this video you'll know exactly what words to use at your next salon appointment to make sure you never accidentally walk out with that granny cut again. Stick around until hairstyle number 4 especially, because it's the one style specifically designed for women who think their hair is too thin for anything interesting anymore. Hey there and welcome back to Ageless Style Secrets, the channel dedicated to helping women over 60 look polished, current, and completely confident, without needing an expensive stylist or a wardrobe budget that keeps you up at night. If you're new here, welcome. I'm genuinely glad you found this video because hair might be the single most requested topic on this entire channel, and today we're covering it in real detail, the kind of detail you can actually walk into a salon and use. And if you're already part of this community, welcome back, get comfortable, because this list might completely change how you approach your next salon visit. Before we dive in, if this is your first time here, please subscribe before we continue. This channel is built specifically for practical, honest beauty and style advice for women exactly like you, and you won't want to miss what we cover next. If you're already finding this valuable, go ahead and tap that like button, and drop a comment letting me know your current hair length. I want to see exactly what everyone's working with before we get into these 6 styles. Alright, let's get into hairstyle number 1, because it's probably not what you're expecting. What actually makes a granny cut a granny cut? Before we jump into the 6 styles themselves, let's quickly define exactly what we're avoiding, because this is genuinely the foundation for understanding why the 6 cuts coming up work so well. The granny cut isn't about short hair. Short hair can look absolutely wonderful. It's specifically a cut with zero shape, zero movement, and zero intention. Hair that's simply trimmed shorter for practicality with no layering, no framing, and no consideration for face shape or texture at all. This happens most often when a woman walks into a salon and says something like, "Just keep it easy" or "nothing too complicated," which sounds completely reasonable, but often gets interpreted by a rush stylist as, "Give me the fastest possible cut," rather than "Give me something low maintenance but still intentional." Those are 2 very different requests even though they sound similar, and that small miscommunication is where the granny cut usually comes from. The 6 styles we're covering today are all still genuinely low maintenance, some even more so than a flat, shapeless cut, but every single one of them has intention built into the shape itself, which is exactly why they read as current and youthful rather than resigned. Hairstyle 1. The soft layered lob with face framing. Let's start with one of the most versatile cuts that exists for this exact goal, the lob, which simply means a long bob, typically landing somewhere between the chin and the collarbone. On its own, a blunt lob can actually fall into that granny cut trap we just talked about if it's cut with zero layering. But add soft layering specifically around the face, shorter pieces that frame the cheekbones and jawline, and the entire effect changes completely. Face framing layers work because they draw attention directly to the eyes and cheekbones, the areas of the face that naturally hold the most youthful energy, rather than letting the eye travel down to the jaw and neck area the way a completely blunt cut does. This cut also happens to be one of the easiest to maintain. It works with a simple blow dry, it works air dried with a bit of texturizing spray, and it grows out gracefully over months without looking obviously overgrown, which makes it incredibly practical for busy schedules or tighter salon budgets. When booking this cut, the specific phrase to use is long bob with soft face framing layers, rather than simply a bob, because that added detail is exactly what separates this youthful version from a flatter, less intentional one. Hairstyle 2. The curtain bangs with length. Next, curtain bangs, a style that's genuinely had a massive resurgence recently, and for very good reason. Unlike a heavy, blunt fringe, which we've actually talked about before on this channel as something to approach carefully, curtain bangs are parted softly down the middle and swept to each side, framing the face like an open curtain rather than sitting as one solid blocked line across the forehead. This particular style works beautifully because it softens the forehead area without hiding it completely, and it blends naturally into the rest of the hair, rather than requiring a hard, separate styling routine on its own. Curtain bangs also grow out incredibly gracefully compared to a blunt fringe. Within a few weeks they simply blend into longer face framing pieces rather than needing an emergency trim before they're in your eyes. The best part about curtain bangs specifically for this age group is how much they can visually lift and soften the whole upper face, especially for women noticing slightly more forehead show as hair naturally becomes finer with time. It's one of the lowest maintenance, highest impact additions you can make to almost any existing haircut, without changing your overall length at all. Hairstyle 3. The textured shoulder length shag. We touched on the shag style briefly in a previous video, but it deserves its own spot on this specific list because of how effectively it fights that flat, granny cut energy. A textured shoulder-length shag features layers cut throughout the length of the hair, creating natural volume and movement, rather than one heavy single length that hangs flat against the head. The key detail that makes this specific version work so well for women over 60 is keeping the layering soft and blended rather than choppy and severe. A softly textured shag adds body and lift, particularly at the crown, which is often exactly the area where hair naturally thins first. That added volume at the root and crown area does an enormous amount of visual work, instantly making hair look thicker and healthier, even on days when it's not been freshly washed or styled. Okay, quick pause here because I want to know which of these first 3 styles caught your eye the most: the layered lob, the curtain bangs, or the textured shag. Drop the number in the comments 1, 2, or 3. And if you're already wearing one of these, let me know that too. I love hearing which cuts our community is already rocking. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a wonderful time, because we cover exactly this kind of practical, detailed beauty and style advice every single week. No fluff, just real information you can actually use. After subscribing, go ahead and tap that like button too. It truly helps this video reach more women who might be sitting in a salon chair this very week about to make a decision about their next cut. Alright, let's keep going because hairstyle number 4 is the one I promised you at the very beginning. Hairstyle 4. The Volumizing Pixie with Soft Crown Lift. Here it is, the style specifically designed for women who've been told or have told themselves that their hair is simply too thin now for anything interesting. A well-cut pixie, specifically one with soft, gentle lift built into the crown area, rather than being cut completely flat against the head, can actually be one of the single most flattering and youthful cuts that exists for finer, thinning hair. The trick here is in how the cut is structured rather than how much hair is removed. A pixie with soft layering concentrated at the crown, gradually blending into slightly closer cropped sides and back, creates the illusion of significant volume and thickness, even on genuinely fine hair. This is completely different from an overly texturized pixie, which we also covered previously as something to be cautious of. This version keeps enough weight in the right places to look full and healthy, rather than piecey and sparse. Many women avoid the pixie entirely out of fear that short hair will look too severe or masculine, but a soft rounded pixie with crown lift is genuinely one of the softest, most feminine short cuts that exists, and it happens to require significantly less daily styling time than almost any other option on this entire list, since there's simply less hair to manage day to day. Hairstyle 5. The long layered cut with movement. Now here's one that might surprise a lot of women, because there's a common myth that hair needs to get progressively shorter with age, when that's genuinely not a hard rule at all. Longer hair past the shoulders can absolutely look youthful and current, as long as it's cut with proper long layering throughout, rather than being left completely one length with no shape. The key here is movement. Hair that's the exact same length all the way through, especially past shoulder length, can start to look heavy and pull the whole face downward visually, which is part of where that aging effect can creep in even with longer hair. Adding long, soft layers throughout, particularly starting somewhere around the collarbone or slightly below, breaks up that heaviness and lets the hair move more naturally with each step, adding a lightness and bounce that reads as significantly more youthful. If you love your length and have no interest in cutting it shorter, this is genuinely the best possible route. Keep the length you love, but ask your stylist specifically for long layers starting at the collarbone, rather than a simple trim, and you'll notice an immediate difference in how the whole style moves and falls. Alright, one more quick pause before we finish this list, because I genuinely want to know your thoughts on hairstyle number 4 especially. If you've ever avoided a pixie cut purely out of fear it would look too severe, drop a comment saying guilty. I promise you're absolutely not alone. This is one of the most common hesitations I hear about constantly. And if this video is giving you real value, please take a moment to subscribe if you haven't already. This channel exists specifically to help you walk into your next salon appointment with real confidence and the right words to use. Like this video too. It genuinely helps more women find this information before their next haircut decision. Okay, let's finish this list with the final style, and it's honestly one of the most underrated options that exists. Hairstyle 6. The angled bob with graduated back. And finally, the angled bob, sometimes called a graduated bob, a style where the hair is slightly shorter at the back and gradually lengthens toward the front, rather than being one uniform length all the way around. This subtle angle does something remarkable structurally. It naturally builds volume and lift at the crown and back of the head, simply through the way the layers stack on top of each other, without requiring heavy styling or product to achieve that same fullness. This particular cut also creates a beautifully soft, elongated line along the jaw and neck, which tends to be one of the most universally flattering effects across almost every face shape. It photographs wonderfully too, since that graduated angle catches light and shadow in a way that reads as intentional and polished from nearly every viewing angle, whether you're being seen from the front, the side, or even from behind. The angled bob is also remarkably low maintenance once cut properly. The natural stacking of the layers means it holds its shape well even between salon visits, and it works beautifully both air-dried for a casual day, or blown out smooth for something slightly more polished, all without any complicated styling routine required. Bonus section. The exact words to use at your next salon appointment. Before we wrap up, I want to give you something genuinely practical to walk away with because knowing these 6 styles is helpful, but communicating them clearly to your stylist is what actually gets you the results you're hoping for. Instead of vague phrases like something easy or nothing too much, try being specific, bring a photo if you have one, and use language like soft layers, not blunt, movement through the crown, or face framing pieces, not a hard line. If you're nervous about committing to something dramatically different, ask your stylist about a transitional cut, a version of any of these 6 styles that eases you gradually from your current cut toward the fuller change, rather than jumping straight in all at once. Most stylists genuinely appreciate this kind of clear, specific communication because it removes the guesswork entirely, and it dramatically increases the chances you walk out of that appointment thrilled with the result, rather than settling for something that technically fits the words easy and low maintenance, but does nothing at all for how youthful and put together you actually look. Closing. So there you have it, 6 specific hairstyles: the layered lob, curtain bangs, the textured shag, the volumizing pixie, long layers with movement, and the angled bob, every single one of them intentional, flattering, and genuinely low maintenance without a single one of them falling into that flat, shapeless granny cut trap we talked about at the very beginning. The real secret was never about cutting hair shorter as we age. It was about choosing shape and intention over simply keeping it easy. If this video helped you walk into your next salon appointment with a lot more confidence and clarity today, that's exactly why we create videos like this every single week. So here's what I'm asking. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, so you never miss a new video the moment it goes live. After that, give this video a thumbs up if you're considering one of these 6 styles for your next cut, and drop a comment telling me which one you're most drawn to. Share this with a friend who has a salon appointment coming up. She'll genuinely thank you for it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the very next video.